Hello, Taurus, and thank you for joining me here today at Destiny Guided Tarot. This is going to be a general reading, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. As a general reading, it cannot be for everyone, so take what fits, throw the rest away, and if you like, you can watch your other placements, and if you're not sure what those are, you can find it for free at Cafe Astrology. I have linked that below for you. Excuse me. Let's get started. Messages, please. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Put those up over. Page of Swords and Ten of Wands. Messages, please. This is for January, beginning with the first week. There's Eight of Cups. Straighten them up in a minute. Two more cards, please. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, first week of January. Eight of Pentacles. And one more, please. Straighten these up a little bit. All right, let's take a look. So, you begin with the Page of Swords. You're standing at the edge of a realization. There's curiosity here, but also restlessness. Your mind is alert, questioning, and perhaps a bit sharp. You may be seeking truth, asking difficult questions, or feeling the urge to speak up or learn something new. This can show up as researching a new path, initiating an honest conversation, or even challenging an idea that you've long accepted. For example, you might be thinking, why am I doing things this way? Or is there another approach that I haven't considered? Now that questioning leads directly into the Ten of Wands, where the mental clarity of the page meets the physical and emotional reality of overload. You've been carrying too much for too long. Responsibilities, expectations, or roles that may not all be yours to hold. This could look like overworking, being the emotional backbone for others, or saying yes when you're already exhausted. The contrast suggests that once you see the truth, you can no longer ignore how heavy things have become. This strain prompts the Eight of Cups, a quiet but powerful turning point. Rather than a dramatic exit, this is a conscious choice to walk away from something that no longer fulfills you, even if it did once. You're not leaving because it failed, you're leaving because you've outgrown it. For instance, this could mean stepping away from a draining job, distancing yourself from a one-sided relationship, or abandoning a goal that was built on outdated values. There's emotional maturity here. You know something better lies ahead, even if you can't fully see it yet. Now, as you move forward, the Three of Pentacles appears as reassurance. You're not meant to rebuild alone. This card speaks to collaboration, learning, and being recognized for your skills. After walking away, you may find yourself in a new environment where teamwork matters, perhaps a new workplace, creative project, or a supportive community. You might be mentoring or being mentored, learning how to do things differently and more sustainably. It's the reminder that progress happens through shared effort and mutual respect. And finally, the journey culminates with the King of Pentacles, a figure of grounded success and long-term stability. This suggests that your willingness to question, release burdens, and walk away from emotional emptiness ultimately leads to security and confidence. You become someone who builds wisely rather than desperately, someone who values balance, reliability, and tangible results. This could manifest as financial stability, a leadership role, or simply a sense of peace, knowing you've created a life that supports you rather than drains you. So overall, it's telling a story of mental awakening, necessary release, conscious rebuilding. It's about trading exhaustion for purpose and moving from survival mode into a position of mastery and stability. So let's carry on. Messages, please, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the second week of January. Begin with the Six of Pentacles. And then we have Ace of Swords. And then the Queen of Swords. A few more, please. I got one sticking out here. Ace of Cups. And finally, oh, there's the last one. Five of Wands. All right, let's take a look. So this week opens up with the Six of Pentacles, setting the theme of balance, exchange, and reciprocity. At the start of this situation, there's an awareness of giving and receiving, who has resources, who needs support, and whether the scales are truly even. You may be offering help, time, or emotional energy, or you may be on the receiving end. For example, this could show up as financial assistance, emotional labor in a relationship, or unequal effort at work. The question beneath it is this fair, or is it simply familiar? That awareness sharpens with the Ace of Swords, a moment of clarity that cuts through ambiguity. A truth surfaces, perhaps through a conversation, a realization, or new information that forces you to see the situation clearly. This might be an honest discussion about boundaries, a contract or a decision made with logic rather than emotion, or a sudden insight like, I can't keep pretending this is balanced when it's not. This card signals a turning point powered by clear thinking. Stepping into that truth, the Queen of Swords emerges. She represents discernment, emotional maturity, and firm boundaries. Here, you're no longer just seeing the truth, you're embodying it. You communicate with precision, possibly setting rules or redefining expectations. This could look like calmly stating what you will and will not accept, restructuring responsibilities at work, or choosing honesty over people-pleasing. While this energy can feel cool or distant to others, it's rooted in self-respect and wisdom. Once that boundary is established, the Ace of Cups flows in as a fresh emotional beginning. Clearing the mental air makes room for genuine feeling, compassion, love, or emotional renewal. This could be the start of a new relationship, a reconnection with your own emotional needs, or a deeper sense of self-love. For example, after speaking your truth, you may feel lighter, more open, and capable of emotional intimacy without resentment. However, the story doesn't end in perfect harmony. The Five of Wands. It reminds us that growth often stirs friction. Differences of opinion, competing desires, or internal conflict may arise as everyone adjusts to the new emotional and mental landscape. This might be external, like debates, disagreements, workplace tension, or internal, such as balancing logic with emotion. Yet this conflict isn't destructive, it's dynamic. It challenges you to refine your values and stand by them without losing your openness. So overall, this week tells a story of restoring balance through truth, establishing clear boundaries, and opening the heart again, while accepting that not everyone will move at the same pace. It suggests that meaningful emotional beginnings often require uncomfortable honesty and a willingness to engage with healthy conflict rather than avoiding it. So let's see what the third week brings us. Messages, please, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the third week of January. Let's see what we have here. Begin with the Eight of Wands. Three of Pentacles. Six of Cups. Temperance. It's the first major we've had so far in this reading. Interesting. And finally, there's one that was peeking out. Page of Pentacles. Alright, so let's see what we have here. So the third week begins with the Eight of Wands, bringing a surge of momentum and movement. Things begin to happen quickly. Messages arrive, plans accelerate, or opportunities appear all at once. This can feel exciting, but also slightly overwhelming, as if the universe has suddenly pressed the fast forward button. For example, you might receive rapid communication about a project, an invitation that requires a quick decision, or emotional clarity that propels you forward after a period of stagnation. That forward motion is going to lead into the Three of Pentacles, where speed meets collaboration. You're not rushing blindly. Instead, you're being drawn into a situation that requires teamwork, shared vision, and learning. This could be a new job or a creative project where your skills are recognized, or a partnership where each person brings something valuable to the table. You may find yourself learning from others or being asked to contribute your expertise in a meaningful way. As you work alongside others, the Six of Cups introduces a sense of familiarity and emotional resonance. Something about this collaboration feels comforting or nostalgic. You may reconnect with someone from your past, revive an old dream, or rediscover a passion that you once loved but set aside. For instance, you might reunite with a former colleague, return to a childhood interest, or approach your work with a renewed sense of joy and innocence. This card suggests that the past holds the key to moving forward. Now, the presence of Temperance shows the importance of balance and integration. As past and present blend, you're asked to move thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This is about pacing yourself, blending different energies, and finding harmony between enthusiasm and patience. You may need to balance work with rest, logic with emotion, or ambition with well-being. For example, instead of pushing too hard, you learn how to sustain progress in a healthy, steady way. And then finally, the journey settles into the Page of Pentacles, symbolizing a grounded new beginning. After the rush, the collaboration, and reflection, you're ready to commit to learning something new or building something tangible. This could be enrolling in a course, starting a long-term project, or planting the first seed of a stable future. There's curiosity here, but also responsibility. You're willing to put in consistent effort to see real results. So overall, we're telling a story here of swift opportunity leading into meaningful collaboration, emotional reconnection, balanced growth. And it suggests that by honoring both your past and your present pace, you can begin something new that has lasting potential and personal fulfillment. All right, so let's see what the final week is bringing us here. Again, messages for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This is for the final week of January. Messages, please. And we begin with Stone Queen. Yep. This deck is a little tricky for me because it's very big. I have small hands, so alright. And we have Sovereignty. Here's the next one. Lady of the Lake. This is the Arthurian Tarot. Slightly different names on things, but all the same suits and you know, each card in this deck matches a card in the Rider-Waite deck. So we do have everything we need here. Oh, here's another one trying to jump out on me. Grail King. And one more, please. There we go. Spear 6. So let's take a look and see what we have on this last week. All right, so this final week opens up with the Stone Queen, a figure of endurance, ancient wisdom, and quiet authority. She represents a foundation that has been hard won, strength forged through time rather than force. This may point to you or someone influencing your path who has learned resilience through lived experience. You may be standing firm in your values after a long period of pressure, or recognizing that your power lies in patience and self-trust rather than constant action. For example, this could reflect choosing not to react emotionally, allowing your steadiness to speak louder than words. From this grounded presence arises sovereignty, the declaration of self-rule. This card suggests a moment of reclaiming authority over your own life, choices, or identity. You're no longer seeking permission or validation. Instead, you're deciding what aligns with your truth. This might look like setting firm personal boundaries, stepping into leadership, or redefining success on your own terms. The Stone Queen's endurance now becomes conscious power. You are choosing to govern your own inner kingdom. Next appears the Lady of the Lake, bringing an element of mystery, intuition, and sacred offering. She emerges when logic alone is insufficient. This card suggests guidance arriving from the unconscious, the emotional realm, or spiritual sources. You may receive insight through dreams, synchronicities, or an unexpected emotional realization. For example, you might feel drawn to release something old into the waters so that something blessed can be returned to you. Much like surrendering fear to receive clarity or purpose. Trusting your intuition becomes essential here. Answering that call is the Grail Knight, a seeker devoted to meaning, compassion, and spiritual fulfillment. This card speaks of a quest, not for power, but for purpose. You may feel drawn to serve something greater than yourself, a calling, a creative pursuit, a healing path, or a relationship rooted in shared values. The Grail Knight suggests emotional bravery, choosing sincerity and devotion even when the outcome is uncertain. For instance, this could mean following a heartfelt vocation rather than a practical one, or opening your heart despite past disappointment. Then the journey concludes with the Spear 6, a card of recognition, forward momentum, and earned victory. Unlike conquest, this success comes through alignment rather than struggle. You are acknowledged not because you fought the hardest, but because you stayed true to your path. This may manifest as public recognition, personal confidence, or the inner knowing that you are finally moving in the right direction. Others may look to you as an example of integrity in action. So overall, this reading tells a mythic story of inner authority reclaimed, intuition honored, and purpose pursued with devotion. It suggests that by standing firm in your truth and listening to deeper guidance, you move toward a victory that feels both meaningful and deserved. Not just a win, but a confirmation of who you truly are. So this is your January reading, Taurus. Hope you enjoyed it or that it was helpful. I thank you again for being with me. If you are so inclined, please give this a thumbs up. That's how we share the readings with others out there. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you again next time. And take care. Bye.